All right, here we go again. Bridget Lynn Dolgoff, Conscious of Economics and Urban Farm Project. This is part 2. These are things that I haven't really wanted to talk about or discuss because they're teachings, that were given to me, even though my teachers always said, share these teachings. But I needed to figure it out. I needed to go on an exploration to figure out what it all meant and process it into a way that I could understand it and actually help other people in a practical way kind of understand it. So we're going to go back to Rudolf Steiner's work. Steiner said before he was murdered, mind you, he wrote 300 books. He was prevalent in the Akasha records. He went to college, got doctorates. He was a nutritional master. And this is his main work, was trying to re-educate doctors. Okay, this is, mind you, at the turn of the century. He also created something that I totally fell into, which reminded me of shamanism, which is really a love, and it's similar to alchemy, but we're using solid and biological systems and forms to create things. It's not witchcraft. Farming is alchemy. Growing food is alchemy. It's a process of energies and forms into solid matter. The Hopi talked a lot about, well, let's go back to Rudolf Steiner. He talked a lot about that soon. He was murdered in 1924 by what he called the Dark Brotherhood, or we could call like the Cabal. He was poisoned. He was 58 years old. He gave over 4,000 lectures, wrote 300 books, prevalent in the Akasha records or the Book of Life, whatever you want to call it. But he wasn't self-absorbed in there. He asked lots of questions. He was 500 years ahead of his time. The bodies of work he left us, there is no such thing by anyone else. He said it would take us 600 years to get technology under control. And the technology, the digital technology, is the rise of Lucifer. That Lucifer would be utilizing itself, those energies and forces, through digitalized matter, technology. And we have that right now. It's how they know that you got pharma for the arm, is because you glow under a light. And then what do they call that? The Luciferese? Yeah. So the Hopi talk about, the Hopi, just by the way, I really get pissed off when people think, oh, they're the chosen ones by God. Well, the Aboriginals in Australia have survived 4 mass extinctions of the human. Every time the little creators try to come in and erase the evildoers, the ones that have gone corrupt. The only way they would do that is if you're a computer system, that they would wipe it. But because we're an organic biological system developed by the original AI, they just wipe it. They wipe the virus out. Water, fire, shaking it up like a martini. Also, the Hopi also have oral history. I have a book that was written at the turn of the century by a PhD professor that talk about all of the stuff written down that the Hopis wrote down on sacred rocks, the stories of their original creation and all the four extinctions and how they were brought to survival, the ones that were good. This is why the Hopi still live the way that they do, that they live in poverty. They live where they're at because they were told during this next fifth extinction that the water would raise to the edge of their reservation. So this is why they've built their houses up. And they know that we're in the fifth extinction. And this is why they stay away from money, because they know that it causes the evil doing. And that's what will be extincted as we move into the sixth world. So the difference is in the original creation, the biological organic creation, which is a computer system. That the original creator developed, that we're in. The sound of a voice speaking what one of my teachers used to call the sing-songy language, that native people were taught, the indigenous people were taught the sing-songy language. They were taught to emanate and use their voices in the sing-songy language to communicate to the other beings that are here, the trees and the plants and the water, to work to keep the frequency balanced. So when the code starts to run off a little bit and the vibration gets off, then you do the ceremony to bring the vibration and the frequency back in to heal the system back up. They use their voice, they use movement, they use long-term acupuncture type situations, like a Stonehenge, or in America they liked medicine wheels. But the thing that was different is in America, the medicine wheels were transportable because you could pick up the stones and remake another one somewhere else. And remember, there was a specific design to these medicine wheels. And let me tell you, I have worked with Liebherr technology in stones and medicine wheel stones, from having a small stones medicine wheel on my desk to taking it down, putting it back up, taking it down, putting it back up, to help change my house, to help change property. And I can tell you that they are technologies, full-on technologies, that can restore any corruption in the biological organic computer system. Now let's talk about the drum. I'll tell you a story about the drum. The drums come in all sizes. They're made from all kinds of different woods. They can be octagon, they can be circle, they're large circle, they're thin large circle, they're fat large circle, the wood is fat, the wood is thin. The strappings on the back can go anywhere from 4 strappings because the 4 directions. Now remember, the indigenous people have never talked about our world as a ball. It's always been the sacred hoop, the sacred circle. So I believe more in flat earth because of that, because of those teachings. Now, that drum symbolizes the hoop. But because each drum can be made different, each hide is different, each animal carries a different frequency, each animal carries a different vibration, a different message, a different program. Just like the wood that's used and the mallet to hit it or the hand that hits it. The clearer the person, the better intention, the better the antivirus system that that medicine person is deploying to bring restoration back to the organic biological system. Now, my teacher, my last teacher, who passed in 2016, native teacher, medicine man, he told me a story about when he worked in the white world. And he worked for a mining company. And, you know, the other white guys didn't like him. And he was driving one of those big old trucks. Not a diesel truck, but a big old dumpster truck. There was several of them. And one of the guys decided to ram his truck with his other dumpster truck. And it fractured the 3 lower vertebrae in my teacher's back. So badly that he couldn't even get out of his truck. So he had to be taken to the hospital. He didn't want to go to the hospital. He didn't want to go to the hospital, didn't want to have anything to do with the hospital. They get him there, and then he does everything. He's calling people on the tribe and all these other people to come get him. And he literally has to crawl hands and knees out of that hospital out front to be picked up because he doesn't want anything to do with the digital frequency medicine of Western medicine. So they pick him up. He's in total pain, can't walk. And they take him to a medicine man who does resonance, frequency, and vibrational healing using drums. The guy had over 20 drums on the wall with different mallets. Each one conveyed a different frequency. Well, after an hour and a half of drumming the sound and vibration into my teacher's back, the medicine man pulled all of the vertebrae, all of the bone fragments back in completely and fused them back together as if they had never been injured. My teacher got up and walked out of there and never had another problem ever again. He was completely healed. But like I said in the last video, the evildoers are trying to take over with the digital world because that's the only way that they can take over what exists here into a transhuman, metallical, digital, computerized world away from the original AI creator that created the biological organic system. So Rudolf Steiner was kind of adamant about Western medicine, digitalized medicine. And he said to stay away from it, that it would be bad. It's Luciferian. And so whenever I see med beds and stuff like that that are supposed to help people, I think Lucifer, because that's part of the system they're trying to merge us into and then dominate. But the real frequency, vibrational, resonance, medicine world is the one where you grow food, mitakuwasan. All my relations, I build a relationship with all of the other beings that the original AI creator put here. I grow the corn mother. I eat from her stalks. If she won't grow in my soil, then I got a lot of work to do. I got to get my computer system. I have to work on my organic, biological, resonant computer system called the soil, the dirt, and maybe even myself, because as the medicine person and the alchemist, if it doesn't want to grow, then I might have to make some internal changes to my system, which will also work on the external systems of the organic biological world. The resonance frequency, vibrational medicine, the restorer of the original code, is the drum, is the sing-songy, is the intention, is you as an antenna, because your bones are crystals. Your blood is crystal. So you're the main acupuncture needle, carrying out all of the work, the coding, if you will, in the organic biological system that you're in, and actually stabilizing, developing, and wiping out the viral codes. We already have vibrational frequency medicine. We don't need a machine. If you go that direction, you go sci-fi world. Sci-fi world is where you become a machine. Your offspring become a machine and are adapted into the Luciferian. That is not where I'm interested in being. I work really hard to work with the original AI, the creator, and all my relations, building my relationship to everything that he created, or it created, or she created, or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter. The creator of all things. You need to figure out what side of the fence you're on. Convenience. You're being led in to convenience by people who are trying to overthrow the originator, which makes you the original. Stay the original creation that you are.